So the House Judiciary Committee had a hearing. Nicole and I always fumbled judiciary, had a hearing on sanctuary policies where the Adams County Sheriff was invited to Congress to testify. We'll have more on his comments in a moment, but just setting this back up. So the sheriff in Adams County, Washington said, basically, I want to work with ICE. Like, I think that working with ICE to get violent criminals off our streets is fulfilling my duty as the sheriff and is helping with public safety. So we might be living in a sanctuary state. And he was poking the bear with this. He knew that by saying that publicly, the Democrats in Olympia wouldn't like that too much. And they didn't. And so Nick Brown, the attorney general, sued the sheriff over his comments and over his, actions to facilitate ICE work and to share information with them in violation, Attorney General Nick Brown contends, in violation of state sanctuary laws. So after that happened, you might recall that Congressman Michael Baumgartner and the chair of the Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, got together and they sent a letter to Attorney General Nick Brown demanding answers, basically saying, why do you think you have the authority to do this? Arguing that some of the sanctuary policies directly conflict with federal law and actually impede lawful actions by ICE, wanting to know why he's personally going after the Adams County Sheriff. So there's all this tit for tat going back and forth. So then there's the hearing in the Judiciary Committee yesterday. So I'll talk about the sheriff's comments. We'll play some of the sheriff's comments that he had in a moment. But of course, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal of our state is on that committee. And she had some interesting Manka Dhingra style opening comments.
Perhaps the chairman would have this level of concern for the victims of senseless gun violence across this country. 47,000 people who were killed from gun violence just in 1 year alone. Or perhaps the chairman would have this level of concern for the families of law enforcement that were killed during the January 6th insurrection on the United States Capitol, or even the families that are suffering from rising grocery prices and devastated retirement accounts thanks to Donald Trump's chaotic economic policy.
I think of the Wonder Woman scene where it's like she's got her little bracelets on that deflect things and she's like, bing, 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 bing. It's just like total deflection. I mean, when is one time during the Biden administration that Congresswoman Jayapal talked about her concern for the costs, the food costs for families? Show me one time. When is one time she has expressed care and concern for the lives and well-being of law enforcement except for January 6th? One time. So she pretends to care about things when they're politically convenient to her and when she doesn't want to face the reality of the drawbacks to being a sanctuary state. So it's just like, it's a total joke, right? All right, so Sheriff Dale Wagner of Adams County, Washington, got an opportunity to speak. There were several sheriffs who were invited to testify before the committee, and he was asked about this lawsuit the AG has filed against him.
Sheriff Wagner, you face legal threats for doing what you're doing. Could you tell us a little bit about that real quickly?
Yeah, right now we're being faced with a lawsuit from the Attorney General of Washington State on, in my view, some...
They're suing you for trying to uphold the law. What a crazy world we live in. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how awful that is.
That's okay.
Because it pisses me off.
Yeah, I get it. It pisses me off. But the reality is that it's some of the circumstances that have been, it's very political. It's politically driven, and it's unfortunate that we're in that position because like I said before, we've had a jail that's been closed for 3 years. I'm not housing people. I use outside entities to do that. I don't have the resources and manpower to go out and surround people up out in the fields. Not only that, the other mentioned person that was here earlier, look, we're a small community and I do have the trust of my community. I have a 2/3 Hispanic population in my workforce at the sheriff's office. I have guys that less than 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that were illegal, got their citizenship, and they work for me. So I understand the process, and I understand how these people are affected. The whole fear-mongering is coming from both sides, quite frankly, but it does come, and it tries to hit our community because we are a Hispanic population of 34%.
And there's the truth.
That's the truth. And we unfortunately are dealing with a nationwide problem where the border is the southern border, not the northern yet. And my community is affected because guess what? We fit the mold that needs to be in politics apparently right now.
Thank you for what you do. I yield back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he makes a lot of good points and really calling out both parties, but he's got people who were immigrants to this country on his force. And I think it attacks this sort of idea that if you allow these sheriff's office and police departments to cooperate with ICE, that they'll be rounding up brown people on the streets and asking them for their paperwork. And that's just not what's in their hearts. It's not even their priorities. They don't have the manpower, as he points out, to do it, even if they wanted to do it. This is about assisting ICE in improving public safety by getting violent criminals off the streets. And they can pick and choose. This idea that it's all or nothing. If you help ICE, they're also going to be at these work sites and they're going to be in the fields and they're going to be rounding up workers and pulling people over and saying, hey, your skin is brown enough. Show me your paperwork. It's like, no, they can choose. And he sounds like a very reasonable guy. There's also this issue of you're telling me that I have to, if I've got an illegal immigrant, illegal alien in my jail that's going to be released in a matter of hours and they're accused of doing, let's say, raping someone, that I can't tell ICE, so ICE can come get them and take them off our streets and out of our community, and then they're not hurting people anymore. No, I'm going to release them and then make ICE chase them through the town? Like, that's going to be a safer situation for everyone involved? It makes no sense. He went on to talk about the public safety impact of the sanctuary policies to his county.
So the state law actually directly, not indirectly, not impliedly, it actually directly defies federal law. Federal statute.
That's what I understand, yes.
Yeah, because federal statute says if you get a detainer, you're supposed to hold.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hold. That's what federal law says, and you can't do that there.
Correct.
How does that impact the safety of your community?
Well, ours is impacted in a great way because, one, my jail has been closed for 3 years, and I find that ironic in this situation as well. But it impacts us in a great way because, like I believe it was Mr. Jordan was explaining, putting people out onto the street and having them get caught again becomes a bigger problem. We're not arresting on immigration status. We're putting people in jail for crimes they committed in our community. And then ICE, because of public records that are available and things like that, they have the ability to find out who's in our custody and where they are and when they're released and all those kind of things. And they are basically released to their custody in the opposite way, similar to Denver in most cases.
Yeah, letting them out. And then in Denver, there was an instance where ICE had to get a bunch of people armed. The guy took off on them. So now they're chasing a criminal through the community and one of the cops got hurt. So it makes no sense. It's utterly insane that we can't have some sort of distinction like, hey, yeah, you can hand over a criminal. I mean, that's not the most controversial thing in the world. It's unreal. And again, we have a special airing next week while we're gone about ICE's operations in the state of Washington, a sanctuary state, and some of the challenges that they run into trying to get drug dealers off the streets, trying to get violent criminals off the streets after they've already been convicted of crimes. It's really unreal. And we talked as part of this special to Congressman Adam Smith, a Democrat in our state, and he agrees with us on a ton of this. And he can see the nuance in, yeah, get the criminals out of here. Hey, give them due process, but get the criminals out of here. It's the other sort of administrative stuff that we don't need our local departments being involved in, so it doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation. So there are some Democrats who are willing to help on this issue and to use the nuance that's really, I think, the situation demands. We just need them to have louder voices, speak up, push back against their own parties, and try to come to some semblance of a sane immigration policy.